People are our most important resource. They're an intimate and integral part of every organization, one that's expensive to develop, costly to lose, and difficult to replace. Sometimes, however, human resources seem a little too human.
There's no way I can present this report to Evans.
I didn't think it was that bad.
That's why you're the marketing rep and I'm the manager.
What exactly is wrong with it?
Everything. Most of all, it's too complicated. He'll never understand it.
It's really a very simple marketing plan, Al. If you'll just let me show you.
You're going to show me. Do me a favor, Phyllis. The only thing I want you to show me is how to come up with a new approach to the Evans account by tomorrow. Now do it, or we'll lose him.
Diane Foster, please call the front desk.
Occasionally, we find ourselves up against a boss, a subordinate, or a peer whose consistently difficult behavior uses up time, energy, and emotion at the expense of productivity and morale.
Jack, this is turning out great. Do you think the shoulder should be dropped?
Whatever you say.
Maybe it's too long.
Fine.
What do you think, Jack?
Anything you say is okay by me.
But do you like it?
It'll work.
Kay Harrison, you have a call on line 2. Kay Harrison, line 2.
Difficult people can be extremely frustrating. Unfortunately, we often react to this frustration by becoming defensive, thus compounding the problem.
Hey, Randy, where'd you disappear to?
I had something to do.
You know, you got something to do around here, too, if you ever stick around long enough.
Lighten up, Lou. That's my business.
No, not when I have to work twice as hard because you're not around. That's my business. Look, it takes 2 guys to do this job. Start pulling your own weight.
Cut the lecture, Lou. You're not my old man.
Our frustration with difficult people often leads us to believe that that relationship is hopeless. However, there is a constructive way of dealing with difficult people at work, a systematic strategy of proven effectiveness. Of course, in dealing with people, there are few absolute rules, and nothing that will work with everyone. But the following 4 steps can at least minimize the damaging effects of difficult behavior, and at best eliminate it altogether. First, pinpoint the problem. Second, examine the relationships. Third, determine the costs. Fourth, search for a solution and get an agreement with and commitment to that solution. By approaching the problem with a plan in mind, you increase your chances of success.
Oh, Al, have you got a minute?
Not now.
But it's important.
Really?
Pinpointing the problem is often the hardest because it demands some fairly rigorous self-questioning. You have to determine whether you are actually dealing with a difficult person. You must ask yourself, am I the only one who finds this person's behavior difficult?
Could you explain them to me?
It has to be now.
Well, it would be helpful. I have a meeting with a client later.
Do you ever stop to think what I have? 3 meetings, an overdue report, a sales chart that tells me we're not producing. I mean, I can't do everything. Figure it out for yourself.
Difficult people are difficult often, and they're often difficult with everyone.
That was terrible.
I thought it was pretty good.
That was a really weak presentation.
What do you mean?
I mean, you were obviously not ready to deal directly with clients.
In general, a difficult person is one whose undesirable behavior is repetitive, widespread, and has a direct impact on their ability to perform their job. Once you're certain it's a difficult person you're dealing with, it's time to examine the relationship. Examining not only your relationship with a difficult person, but also that person's relationship with others will help you analyze why that person is difficult. This analysis is a key step toward finding the most direct path to solving the problem.
It isn't going to work, is it?
Nope.
Some supervisors may be constantly belittling and critical because they think that's how supervisors ought to behave.
You know, Al, all you ever do is tell me that I'm wrong.
That's my job.
Yeah, I'll pick up the tickets. Yeah, I'll see you tonight. What? Yeah, I'll try.
Peers or coworkers who are difficult may not realize the effect their behavior has on others. Difficult people are usually so involved with their own that they rarely notice other people's problems.
I got tickets to the game tonight. Got to leave a little early. How about clocking me out at quitting time?
You've got to be kidding.
Well, what do you mean?
We're already 2 hours behind. You've been on that phone all afternoon.
Here we go again.
You better believe it, pal.
Cool it, Lewis. You're going to give yourself a heart attack.
You just don't care, do you?
Hey, Lou, get off my back!
Now it is time to determine the costs of the difficult person's behavior. If a peer is the problem, the cost may be your own dissatisfaction or discomfort at work. If it's your boss, factors such as morale and productivity enter into the calculation. It's helpful to realize that although there are many different kinds of difficult people, they can all be categorized into two basic types: aggressives and passives. Aggressives are the intimidators, manipulators, yellers, and screamers. Aggressives exhibit an overt, hostile behavior that must be stopped, or at least curbed, in order to deal with them. When difficult people are passive, they keep everything inside, and often it seems impossible to get an honest answer. The opposite of aggressives, passives must be provoked into action in order to deal with them. Once you've identified which category, passive or aggressive, then it's time to search for a cure. In order to do that, you must have a talk with the difficult person. Preparing for this talk won't be easy. You'll be confronting the person on a very personal level, and this is bound to cause you anxiety. To maximize your chances of success, choose a non-stressful time to approach the difficult person. A time when they are in a relaxed state and less likely to interpret the request for a discussion as a challenge or an accusation.
All right.
Hey, look, you can't come down on me this time. Lunch isn't over for 20 minutes.
I know. We got plenty of time. Well, it's a nice day.
Yeah, great.
Randy, we need to talk.
Okay.
The discussion should open with a statement of the problem. This should be done simply and in a non-accusatory manner.
Look, it is important that we get along. God knows this job is tough enough without us jumping on each other all the time. Look, I think you're not around enough. All right, and you think I'm always on your back. Man, we've got a problem.
Yeah, you want to tell me what to do, and I don't want to do it.
Well, I really don't want to be like that.
Stay calm. Keep the statement descriptive, not judgmental.
One thing's for sure, arguing isn't going to get either one of us what we want.
I just want to get through the week and pick up my paycheck. What do you want?
I want to make supervisor. But the rate we're going...
Yeah, I guess you're right. It's a real long shot.
Now it's time to state the costs that you've already calculated.
I mean, it's what I want. I like it around here.
Well, you're right about one thing. Man, we got to work this thing out.
Then we both agree. Look, it's making us both miserable. And it's costing me any shot at a promotion.
You know, I don't even know if I like this job. But, man, you're not making it any easier.
Active listening, summarizing to the difficult person what you've heard, shows that you're not only listening and understanding what's being said, but also that you think it's important.
If you didn't get on my case all the time, maybe I wouldn't be gone so much.
I mean, if I start bugging you, then you'll try to stick around more.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
In choosing a solution, set up small, short-term, easily attainable goals.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I just get carried away sometimes.
Tell you what. For the next week, I won't say a word. And how about both of us taking only the regular breaks and nothing else, okay?
Okay. Truce.
Al, have you got a minute? It's important.
Yeah, come on in.
Sometimes meetings don't go so smoothly, and you'll have to hold your ground in order to get your points across. This is especially delicate when you're dealing with a difficult boss.
What's the problem?
Well, Al, it's not really a problem.
It's got to be something.
Al, we all want to be good at our jobs, but when all we get is criticism, we feel we can't do anything right.
What's the matter? Have I been riding you too hard?
Well, yes.
Phyllis, I come from the old school of thought when it comes to management. Unless you push your workers, challenge them at every turn, they never reach their full potential.
So we're being criticized because you want to help us do our jobs better, not because our work isn't any good.
Exactly. You and many others have done some very good work.
Frequently, difficult people haven't considered the costs of their behavior, thereby leaving you with a distinct advantage.
I'll tell you, Al, we were all getting pretty down about it.
Well, I didn't intend for that to happen.
Of course you didn't. But if once in a while you could let us know what we're doing that was right, it would really help.
I'll try to keep that in mind.
So then you'll let us know sometimes when our work is really good.
Being positive will often help the difficult person keep a constructive impression of the problem-solving process.
We would appreciate your help, though. I know it'll make a difference.
I can't have you all moping around the office. That wouldn't look very good, would it?
That look pretty silly, I guess.
Well, time to go back to work.
Thanks for your understanding, Al.
Certainly.
I love your business.
Passives must be handled differently from aggressives.
I can't get delivery on a fabric that fast.
Passives must be drawn out. They'll be tentative at first, uncertain that you really want to hear what they have to say.
Hope we can do business. Sure. Thanks, Harry. Bye. They always want it yesterday. Jack, thanks for coming. It's much more comfortable talking here than out on the floor.
The floor would have been okay by me, too.
Jack, I want everyone to be happy here. And when I see that someone's not happy, I like to do what I can to change that.
Everything's fine with me.
Are you sure? Because when a person's quiet, it usually means he's not happy about something that's going on. Don't you agree?
Could be.
I guess what I'm trying to do is ask your advice. Now, you've been in this business a lot longer than I have. And I thought you might have some suggestions that would make working here more comfortable for everybody.
Well, there is one thing that's not really important.
No, please, go on.
You'll probably think I'm an old crab, but I'm used to a lot of freedom. And I don't like anyone looking over my shoulder when I'm working. You can't judge a piece fairly till it's done, until you see the final result.
I see what you mean. I wouldn't like that either.
If possible, get the difficult person to help the solution.
No big deal.
This makes it much more likely that they will follow through.
Now, how can I help out?
Let me tell you. Let me work on a few pieces by myself. And when I'm finished, if you're not satisfied, I'll do it any way you like.
You got it. No problem. But just understand that when I make suggestions, that's all they are. Suggestions. If you think they're wrong, say so. All right?
Sure. Why not?
In a reasonable amount of time, reevaluate the situation. In some cases, you will find the difficult person will be much less difficult.
Hey, come on, let's go to lunch, huh?
I'll be right there. I'm almost finished with this.
He dashes up to him and he says, it'll take me a week to raise the $200.
Phyllis, this analysis you whipped up for the Nelson account doesn't hold water.
What's the matter with it?
Well, he'll never go for it. Do it over.
Wait a minute, I've got a meeting with him tomorrow. I've spent weeks preparing this report.
I don't care how much time you spent on it. No good's no good.
Sometimes, despite our best efforts, difficult people continue to be difficult.
Jack, I love those 3 dresses you did for me. But now on this one, do you think the collar should be wider?
Okay.
Jack,
Robin Tynan, you have a call on line 2. Robin Tynan?
that wasn't an order.
I know that.
Oh. So you, like the idea?
Why not?
When difficult behavior continues, it's time to change strategies. Now, coping rather than curing becomes a necessity. Coping attempts to make the best of a bad situation by taking aggressive measures to minimize the damage done by a difficult person's behavior. You must say to yourself, I have to work with this person. What can I do to lessen the damage on myself and others? Coping is a trial and error process, and its methods are as varied as the personalities involved. But some general principles can be used to produce effective strategies. It's certainly helpful to make difficult people more aware of the costs of their behavior. Also, be calm. It's rarely productive to argue, get angry, or accuse.
Hello? Okay, I'll be right in.
Decide before confronting the situation what you will and won't accept, and stick to your prearranged limits. This is especially delicate when dealing with a superior.
I've been over your redo of the Nelson report. Just doesn't work.
I'm sorry.
I know you've got a meeting with him this afternoon that you can't delay. I'm afraid he's going to choose the Brooks Corporation over us.
Do you want me to cancel it?
No, keep it. You might as well at least think we're reliable.
Al, what exactly is wrong with my analysis?
He's not going to go for it. It's unrealistic.
All of it or just parts?
This section where you compare the business to Kane Incorporated, and Nelson does nowhere near the volume of Kane. He knows that, and the fact that you didn't will make him lose confidence in you.
Oh, well, then I should find a company that does the same volume of business as Nelson in order to make a better comparison.
Yes.
Be consistent and persistent in your response. The difficult person has to believe you mean what you say, and that with you, difficult behavior has its limits.
What else?
What is this, 20 questions?
Al, it looks as if I blew this one. I just want to make sure I don't do it again. Now, could you point out some of the other trouble spots?
Here's the other thing. Your first projection is 2 years down the line. And after that, in 5-year installments. I mean, Nelson has a small operation. He doesn't have the security the big guys have. I mean, he needs to know how it'll affect his business in a matter of months, and so on down the line.
Anything else?
No.
Well, then if I find a better comparison and develop projections for the short term, the report would be okay.
Yeah, the rest of it is fine.
Well, good. Well, then I'll fix those points right away.
You'll never fix it in time.
I've got to give it a shot. Thanks for your criticism, Al. It really helped.
Jack, I was thinking, how about pleating the skirt?
Fine.
Jack, fine won't do. My clothes have to be great in order to complete.
Okay, it'll be great.
Jack?
I don't know what you want me to say. You told me to pleat the skirt, so I'll pleat the skirt.
Is that what you think, that I told you to pleat the skirt?
Yes.
Well, I didn't. I just want to know what you think.
Oh?
Well?
I like pleats. But on this material, they just won't fall right. Of course, that's only my opinion.
You know, I think you're right. Forget the pleats.
Fine.
At one time or another, each of us must deal with a difficult person. When we do, it's useful to remember the 4 key steps. First, pinpoint the problem. Make sure you're dealing with a difficult person. Second, examine the relationships of the difficult person so that you can best formulate a plan of action. Third, determine the costs of the difficult person's behavior to you and others. Finally, search for a cure by calling a meeting with the difficult person. If a solution is possible, get an agreement with and commitment to that solution. However, as we've said, many difficult people will continue to be difficult. When that happens, you must change your strategy from curing to coping.
I don't believe it.
Something the matter?
No.
Most difficult people have a chronic problem, so don't lose confidence in yourself.
What is it, Al?
Take a look at that. I asked you to do a little research. You couldn't handle it.
What exactly is wrong with it? Look, let's start at the beginning. Now, how was the form? Was I too vague? Was there not enough data? Have I been too
There are
brief?
many different types of people. Most people are easy to get along with. But when you do encounter a difficult person, the methods discussed here should provide you with the proper tools to handle the situation.
you.